In the previous video, we talked about the panels, and we got a little bit into the workspace, but not fully. So in this video, we're going to go a little bit deeper, and I'm going to show you a few things you can do and actually how you can modify the software to fit your needs better if you so desire. So some of the things that you can do in this software is you can create your own workspaces. So a workspace is basically an arrangement of all the different tools, how it looks, it functions, how it feels. You can reposition different toolbars, and you can save that and use that as a workspace to fit different needs. I've discussed previously that sometimes if you know you're just editing or you're just wanting to create a design, or you want to just do a specific function in the software, sometimes having all the icons up can be a distraction. So you can actually create a workspace just for editing, or a workspace just for creating a design itself. And it's not that difficult to do. It all has to do with toolbars and what you see, and maybe even where they're positioned. So if you know that you want, for instance, this floating toolbar to be over here on the left hand side and you want it to be vertical, you can move it into that position. You can do a few other things that maybe you want to do and move around, and then you can save that as a workspace, and then you can bring that workspace up. So we're going to do a little bit of just manipulating just to show you what you can do. So first of all, let's go look at this toolbars menu item. When I click on it, you'll notice that all of these are checked, right? So this means that they're showing in the software. If I want the creation tools to go away, I can click on creation here, and you'll notice that they're no longer appearing there. If I come back and I click it again, they're back there. So if there's some toolbars that you know that you're not going to use, like if you know that you're not going to be bringing up the symbols, the custom shapes and all that, you can find where that is and you can turn it off. So a lot of times I'll need a refresher on exactly what toolbar is focused on what. So don't be scared to just come in here and choose like assets and say, oh, yep, that was the one I needed to turn off because I didn't care to see those. It's not that those options aren't available to me anymore. It's just if I know for sure that I'm not going to use them, I can just turn them off, and that way it's just less icons to see on the screen. So if I come back here to toolbars, if I want it there, I just click it again. If I come down here, you can just click on all these different things like arrangement. It's those icons right there. I can bring it back. So if I know I'm not going to be using any of those, let's just do this. Let's just click on the arrangement. Let's click on the assets. So I've got both of those turned off now because they're not something that I plan on using. Maybe I don't plan on using any of these as well. Like if I don't use font play, I don't use color play, I don't use you design it, word play. You don't need to have the icon for save to sew because you can access it under the file menu. And the split designs, well, let's just go up here and just uncheck specialty and they go away. And so you can see how you can really modify the software. And even on these are like the auto create tools. If I come up here and I click on auto create, they go away. I do use these tools a lot. So, I'd probably keep them there. But one of the great things that you can do is at the same time, I can select an area and I can move it. I can move the position of that toolbar, and it is specific to what you see here. So all of the text is, you can separate it. So it's kind of nice. I can bring this back over, so that I take up even less space. You can see that these little dots here, that's what's showing me where I can grab. There is even the ability to grab these tools and move them somewhere else and even pull them off. And so now it's just sitting here floating on the screen. So that's another option. And if I want to bring it back, I just click and drag it onto into the work area here, and I can put it back. So you can quickly come in and modify the software quite a bit, and when you get it to where you want, like I said, maybe I want this one over here and I want it vertical, all you have to do is come in here to toolbars, go to workspaces, and save this workspace. So I'll just name it test and hit OK. And now this workspace is saved. So if I come up here to toolbars and I go to workspace, you'll notice that I have one called test now. So if I go back and I reset the workspace, I'll just warn you, the screen might change a little bit because the software a lot of times will change when I go here. So let me go to reset workspace, and it didn't, thank goodness. So it's still here, and it did reset it except for this bar. So this bar right here is not working with the saved workspace, but it's really easy to move around, and that's something if you want to see changes, you can definitely recommend to the Floriani software team, and I'm sure that they could get it working like that. But you'll notice all the icons are back. So if I go to toolbars, you can see that they're all back up here. So let's say that I saved that one and I want to go into that test. I just click this icon, and now it is back to that setting or that layout. So you can see it's pretty nice little feature. You can get the software to kind of look and feel how you want it to, and by moving toolbars around and saving the workspace. And like I said, if you are moving things around a lot and you don't like, kind of how it ended up, you can always go to workspaces and reset the workspace. And you can also delete workspaces too. So if I don't want this test one there anymore, I can hit delete workspace, select it, hit delete, and it says that it has been removed. Okay, so it's still in it because I need to come back here and just reset it. But you'll notice that now if I go back to it, it no longer exists. So you can create as many as you want. You can delete them. There are a lot of different things you can do. If I come to preferences here, and we discussed in the previous video that you can actually unlock the properties box and sequence view, things like that. If I hit OK, now I can move things around. So if I want the properties box to be over here on the left hand side, for instance, and the sequence view over here, I can position that and I can save it as a workspace. You can see it takes up a lot of space. I probably wouldn't do that, but you can. So if you have a really wide screen, a big screen, and you want to do that, you can do it. And also, let me kind of move this back here. Kind of does that quite a bit. One of the things I didn't discuss in the other video is when you go into that mode of being able to actually unlock these, you can pin them to the side, which I show in the previous video. But one thing I didn't say is even on the browser, if you use the browser, the designs panels a lot, you can lock it to the side too, so it will stay there. So that's just something that I didn't talk about, but you can do. If I unpin it, it'll go back. So just wanted to point that out, that you can do that. So you can mess around with these, and you can save it as a different workspace, and whenever you select it, it's going to go ahead and select the workspace. It'll go ahead and change your workspace so that it has the icons and the position that you want them. So I hope that helps. You can play around with it as much as you want. Don't be scared to play around with it. Don't be scared to move some of these around and find out these different positions that you can place them, because you can always go back to toolbars, workspaces, and reset your workspace. Okay, so don't be scared to play with the software. Hope this video helps, and hopefully you'll utilize the workspaces.